Hello everyone, it is Sydney Island here. That's Island with the Y, not an S. All right, y'all. So let's jump into this story time. This very scary story time. It's about my ex-boyfriend. So I did put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video so that y'all can be like, oh my God, why you didn't tell me it was gonna be this spooky? I did. I'm just gonna jump right into the experiences. Okay, so I'm gonna name off a few things that happened, and then I'm gonna go into detail about how these events happened and my theories on what really was going on behind the scenes and why these demonic spirits were attacking us at night and this, that, and the third. Okay, so I had a lot of sleep paralysis, okay, which is when you cannot move in your sleep. You're literally paralyzed in your sleep and a demon comes to visit you.
Boogly, boogly, boogly.
Yeah, had a lot of that, more than ever in my life. Like, I've had experiences with sleep paralysis when I was younger, but I didn't have it like constantly like the way that I was having it at his place, right? I had sleep paralysis. We both had a lot of demonic nightmares, like exorcism vibe type nightmares. And just talking about it just makes me nervous and it makes me uncomfortable. To the point where I was kind of hesitant to even make this video because talking about it gives me anxiety. Like, it freaks me out. Like, maybe I should like talk to my therapist about this experience. Maybe. Okay, so we're gonna get into that and this is scary shit that took place that I was brought up Christian, so I never really thought in a million years that I would be experiencing this. You know what I mean? My mom would have us have Bible study at home together and we would be forced to go to church. And my grandmother, when she was alive, rest in peace, she would quote scripture and sing gospel songs and stuff like that. Like, you know, stereotypical Black American Christian type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Praise Jesus.
And Jesus brought me through so much. I've been down and out, but guess what? Jesus is my friend, therefore I will be okay.
So when I first met my ex-boyfriend, I feel like it's worth mentioning, very, very much worth mentioning, that he said he wanted to be quite a few things, such as wanting to be a Mason. I'm not sure if Freemason and Mason are the same thing, but he said he wanted to practice Masonry, which I was under the impression that was like demonic. To be honest, at the time I was very confused. I didn't really know much about it. And I noticed that here in Memphis, Tennessee, there's a lot more Masons here, which is really weird. And the vibe in Memphis, we're going to talk about the vibe in Memphis in another video. But so he wanted to be a Mason. But then he would turn around and be like, yeah, I respect the voodoo practice and I want to do voodoo. And then I want to do hoodoo. You know, and then he would talk about how he used to like research stuff about Scientology. And I'm like, pick one. Which one are you? So right there, y'all can tell that this man suffered from a lot of spiritual confusion. And I think that that's why these demons were coming to visit him in the first place.
Because he didn't know what the F he was doing.
And I would tell him,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
and I'm glad that I spoke up. And the thing that I would tell him not to do, y'all, and I'm gonna give y'all details. This might have two parts because there's a lot that went down. Okay, this is 7 months. So at the very beginning of our relationship, like very, very beginning, he would talk about his spiritual experiences and how his niece had the ability to channel spirits, right? And some of these experiences that he spoke about with his niece were demonic. First of all, why is a little girl channeling demonic spirits? And why are you allowing her to do so? Why are you actually talking to these spirits through her? Why are you not trying to get her help, trying to like cleanse her spiritually? You know what I mean? Like, something's just not right about that. But I was in love with him. Okay. I was in love with him. And also I didn't have anywhere else to go. I was in a new city all by myself. Didn't have no family there. And so if I ruined it with him, where do I go? Except to sleep under a bridge in one of the most dangerous cities in America. I ain't doing that. I'm 125 pounds, 5'5" tall, sis. I might die out there. And I got the asthmas. I'm an asthmatic. Okay? And I got these glasses. I look like the female version of Steve Urkel. They're going to eat me alive out there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that'd be like these weird demonic experiences going on in the living situation prior to this one, where he lived with his sister and her husband or boyfriend. I can't remember which one he was to her. We just gonna say boyfriend. And their kids, right? And the boyfriend, his sister's boyfriend, was, lo and behold,
a Mason.
I don't know anything about Masons. Okay? I just heard through the grapevine that it's really not about God. They may try to make people believe that it is, but apparently it's not. And apparently, allegedly, there's a lot of celebrities and famous people, including Barack Obama, and apparently it's some secret society. For years, I thought it was some type of satanic occult. I don't know, satanic cult, not occult, but satanic cult. I don't know if that's the case or not. I just don't know. But based on my experiences with Masons in my personal life, these people have demonic energy.
I say this because he wasn't the only Mason that I had an encounter with. We both, me and my ex, had an encounter with another man who his energy was like way off. It was at a clinic here in Memphis and the energy was good. We was there for a couple of hours. And as soon as this man walked into the clinic, the whole energy shifted and I felt extremely anxious and I just suddenly wanted to go. His energy, it just gave off like danger. He just seemed very angry and irritable, and he was raising his voice at the women behind the desk. And lo and behold, you know, he was struggling. I don't know if he was a drug addict or whatever. He was slurring his words. He wasn't really enunciating. He looked a mess. And my ex got up to help him make a call because he was like announcing to everybody how much he was struggling to make this call because he couldn't see. His vision was bad. So my ex got up to help him and they had a quick little conversation. And the man admitted to my ex that he was a Mason.
So my ex wanted to be a Mason. I don't understand why you would want to be a part of that. But I'm not saying all Masons, of course, are going to be the same just because that it's like a Christian. Just because you meet one Christian that's crazy as all get out doesn't mean that all Christians are crazy. The thing that was most alarming was the nightmares that we would have. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But I'm going to start off with him inviting the spirits in. So he said he would have these conversations with these spirits in his old place, right? And his dumb sat up there and said, yeah, and I told them spirits to come over here to his new apartment where I was living with him. Why? When you invite them spirits over here, what you gonna do? Invite them to sit down with us and have tacos? Why? Why? I'll tell you why. Because he was bored. There would be a lot of like spooky experiences. And I feel like if you invite spirits to your house, what the F do you expect is going to happen? And me being me, as soon as he said that, I'm like,
What? You invited spirits over here. Why would you do that?
The hell you would do that for? At night, the nighttime were the scariest freaking times of day. So we would both have demonic nightmares, both of us. Okay. At night, I would have, and it wasn't even really that intense in the beginning. It started to increasingly become more intense. Like the nightmares would happen more often. I don't even remember having nightmares the first couple of weeks, but I might have. I just don't remember. But I know for a fact that it increasingly got worse. So I started having nightmares of my ex-boyfriend having like all white eyes and like a demonic looking face. And it will be almost every single night. Okay. And I would tell him about it because I didn't think that he actually had any type of demonic. I didn't think that he was the culprit. I just thought that it was like the energy in the apartment that we was living in, because he did have neighbors that had a broken window. And if you're a spiritual person, you know that living in a home with a broken window is very dangerous. Like the window is busted open, meaning that spirits that roam the night, like bad spirits that roam the night, can just come into your apartment and inhabit that space. And I would tell him, and we would be trying to figure out like why I was having these nightmares. And then he started having nightmares, and it just honestly started to get out of hand. So I noticed when I would sleep with my head on his chest at night, I would wake up like gasping with like anxiety. And it would only happen when I would sleep with my head on his chest. Whenever I would move over and put my head on the pillow, I wouldn't wake up like that. And I didn't catch on to that until it kept on happening. And I noticed a pattern. And I was like, this only happens when I lay on this little weird Negro's chest. So at night, I would feel a very strong presence that it was sinister to me. It was eerie. It was uncomfortable. And it gave me a lot of anxiety. Like whenever I would get up from under the covers and walk to the bathroom, the room was pitch black. And I would because he had these blackout curtains, and it was too dang dark in my opinion. And I would get up and walk to the bathroom, and I would just feel like a presence. I can't really, how do you describe that energy? It's just like something else is in the room. Like we're not alone. I would just have this surge of anxiety walking to the bathroom at night. And sometimes my intuition shows up as anxiety, as I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate. And then I remember this one nightmare that I had of his closet door being cracked open and it's pitch black in there. Disclaimer, if you get scared easy, maybe a little scary. And in the dream, his closet door is open and it's just pitch black in there. And I see two pairs of red eyes staring at me, glowing red eyes, peering out of complete pitch blackness. One pair of eyes up here, one pair of eyes down here, stacked on top of each other, watching me sleep. And I would have these really weird, like mystical dreams of doors opening and closing throughout his apartment. It was weird. And I would see in the dreams that I was having, I would see like these like spirits, like I guess you could say it looks like a spirit, an energy that would like slither from his room into his living room. Like I would have these dreams. I've always been intuitive ever since I was a kid. I've always been able to feel certain presences in certain environments and feel it off of people. Like I'm an empath, like to a very high degree. So I can imagine that I probably felt all of these sensations in his apartment a lot stronger than somebody else would because of my gifts and my abilities, you know. And it runs in my family with being able to see certain spirits, ghosts, angels, demons. Like I noticed a lot of Black women have these gifts from what I've noticed. And so, yeah, God be telling me stuff in dreams, you know, ever since I was a kid, it's been that way. And mind you, about the broken window next door, what makes it worse is that there was a lot of like abuse and chaos going on next door in that apartment. The couple will be arguing a lot and you will hear kids screaming. It's a lot going on. And the man was in a relationship with the mother of his kids. I assume obviously that's what they was. They had kids. They would be walking out there with their kids and whatever. But he would be looking at me like he wanted me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, don't you have a baby mama? Like, is that your girlfriend? I don't know their personal situation, but dude, you better chill. You know, you better be a good daddy to your kids and stay faithful, stay loyal, because I don't want your ass. I would hear screaming like, yo, like when I tell you they was
Ghetto-ified, okay? Ghetto-ified.
So I hear screaming right outside, and it's the woman, like she got this like deep, scary, aggressive sounding voice, right? And she like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Like screaming in the street. I look out the window and I see her man fighting, and I see in her hands 2 guns. I kid you not.
I don't want to hear nothing that you got to say. Close your mouth. That's why I can't stand Negroes. I can't stand Negroes. I'm about to be gay. I'm about to be a lesbian because I'm sick of y'all Negroes. I'm so tired of Negroes.
Guns?
Shut up. Shut your mouth.
Oh, so yeah, it was a lot of chaos going on next door. The woman had 2 guns. The man was walking all up on her like he wanted to hit her. And they always had some chaotic stuff going on. Like I feel like that man was doing drugs or something, because the way that he talked, he sounded like he'd be under the influence a lot. And that demonic spirit was like,
what we working with here? What we working with here? We got drug addiction. We got abuse. We got infidelity. We got a lot of anger. I thought we can work with that anger. We could definitely work with that anger.
Me and my ex will be like, yeah, you know, the spirits are probably coming from them. But I feel like it was a mixture of both. I feel like the spirits was coming from the both of them, my ex and the couple. And y'all, the worst dream, well, the worst nightmare of them all, it still freaks me out to this day, was I had this dream. Twice I had this dream where I was laying in the bed asleep, and then these scary ass gray, disclaimer, it's scary. It's scary. These creepy gray dead looking hands they was like snatching the covers off of me. That's what I was dreaming about. They would try to like attack me. They would try to like touch me, these creepy gray hands. And it didn't stop there. I had that dream. Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm just remembering. I just remembered a dream that I forgot I had. About like an exorcism and a priest. And I remember one of the demonic spirits turned and looked me dead in my eyes in the dream. Like that spirit looked at me, freaked me the fuck out. And I think the priest was trying to do something, trying to get a spirit out or something. I cannot remember the details. But I remember seeing like this green smoke. And I remember hearing the demonic spirit say, Holy Ghost. It was like the demon couldn't help but to respond to the power of God. Because I was raised Christian, raised with the Bible. So this is what I know and I understand. Now, I don't understand everything in the Bible. I don't agree with everything in the Bible. And I feel like there's a lot of misinformation because it was written so long ago and there's so many people tampered with the Bible. But I definitely grew up on scripture, and I definitely there's still a lot of scripture that has a special place in my heart. And reading scripture really helped me through this situation. And I'm going to get to when I use scripture and when I use my religion to get rid of the spirits.